Welcome back again. So, I hope that you have watched my Instagram video before coming to this, because in that we have covered the topic of Malasana, and due to the sedentary lifestyle, due to sitting in the chair, we have never come to the deeper range of motion. So, let's start with what muscles and what we need to work on is the hip range, hip hinging, core bracing, ankle muscles, external rotation. There are a lot of things that you need to work on. The first thing is the hip flexor, the hip muscles to bend ourselves, and we need a rod, we need a belt and one block. So let's start with the understanding of the core bracing. Lumbar region is remain little bit of arch, and the thoracic is a little bit of kyphosis. So lumbar and the cervical is little bit of in the arch position, and the mid back is little bit of the touch position. So this is the round position, that this is the arch position. So maintaining the curve of the spine, let's first understand the hinge. So if I want to bend from my hips, so maintaining the natural curve, I'm using my hips. So I'm using my hips to bend, not my lower back and my neck to change the curve. So maintaining the natural curve, touching the sacrum, the mid, the neck, and hinging from my hips. So I'm hinging from my hips, and then coming back. So extending from my hips, so hinging. So that is the core bracing, maintaining the 3 points of contact, the sacrum, the mid, and the neck region, and add the hinge. The same we used when we are in the standing and coming for a Malasana. So bracing the core to bend from my hips. So this is a chair range. So from chair I'm going down and I'm maintaining my natural curve of the spine. Maybe this is the range that my body is giving right now. And if I work a little bit harder, maybe this is the range that my body is giving right now. Maintaining the curve, using my hips to flex, using my spine to maintain the curve. And if I go down, so just due to excitement, I just change the curve. So somewhere I'm lacking in my hip flexion. Work on strengthening and lengthening of my hip flexors, sacrum, thoracic, and the neck. So let's lengthening the psoas muscles. So lengthening and adding the strength. So flexing from the hips, and keep observing that you are not using your lower back, your lumbar spine to reach the leg, and use your lumbar spine to flex to reach the leg towards you. So maintaining these 3 points, we are lengthening and strengthening the psoas muscle. So this will help you in the hip flexion range of motion. It help you to go deep. So lengthening and contracting the muscle, the more it contract, more the range of hip flexion occur that we require. The first we work on the hip flexion, the second is the femur rotation. So for that, lie down, my femur, but keep observing that I'm not arching or overarching my spine. So the points in the back is in the contact. So I'm just adding the external rotation, not from the ankle, but from my femur. So not flaring my ribs to the side. So core is in the neutral position. So internal and external rotation. So first I'm working on my external rotation, lengthening the inner area, giving space. So keep observing you are not lean to the side, maintaining the neutral spine. Now after adding the internal and external rotation and the hip flexion. Now let's use all together in a one pose. So in a pigeon, so if you see a pigeon pose, the external rotation, the hip flexion, so the femur is rotating externally and the other femur is rotate internally. So the full range in which we are working on the hip flexion, external rotation to internal rotation of the femur. So in this pose, we are working on all together. So first, step by step, we work on the hip flexion, we work on the external rotation, we work on the internal rotation, adding all together in a one pose. And if you are lack, then your body is doing this. So less of the hip flexion, less of the femur external rotation, less of your internal rotation. So your pigeon is look like that. The last is your dorsiflexion or a lengthening of your calf muscles, because we are wearing a shoes in a whole day, so we have lost the dorsiflexion because your shoes is providing you that so-called brands provide the heel elevation, so you do not need to work on the dorsiflexion in your day-to-day life. So we need to work on a dorsiflexion, or in a basic, the lengthening of your calf muscles and contracting of your front tibialis, posterior and anterior area. For that you can use a belt and keep bringing the ankle towards you, so you feel that stretch in the calf muscles and the contraction in the front muscles, your tibialis, posterior and anterior. So keep lengthening your calf. So after a full range, same way as we use the external rotators, same way we are using the ankle to move towards you, to flexing, releasing as we used to wear a heels. This will also help us to tighten the calf muscles. If you're wearing a heel elevated shoes, it will tighten your calf muscles. That's why when you're coming for a Malasana, you feel that tightness. So for that range where you need your heels to go down, you need a good length in your calf. For that length, you need to contract of your front muscles. So from this, placing a block on your calf, we are using to lengthen the calf muscles and contracting the front muscles that we need to use in the Malasana. So lengthening the calf, contracting the front muscles. In this way, you can work on both. So lengthening and contracting.